Okay.
I think so. Are you ready?
Oh, I
You
don't
don't
know.
know? Okay. Well, we're going to do it anyway. Here we
That
go.
sounds like.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode number, 220?
220. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Of What Does This Button Do? Episode 220. Very cool. All right, it's an educational show about smartphones and technology with us geeks on tour. We want to remind you to go ahead and click on that subscribe and click the bell too.
And click a thumbs up.
Yeah, tell somebody you like us. You got a quick tip, Chris?
Yes, today's topic is about Google Drive and the new Google Drive for desktop. It's going to be a little bit more complex and more advanced than we normally get. So I wanted to start on something that shows you some of the real power just of Google Drive. In case you're not a big user of Google Drive, it can be so easy to collaborate on a document. So, and I'm just going to make a really simple little document, a shopping list. So I'm on my computer. I'm going to go to Google Drive. I can do it with these dots over here, or I could have just typed in drive.google.com. Now, in addition to being a storage place for your files, you can create files with Google Drive. You do that just by clicking on this plus for new. So I'm going to create a new document. And I could write a whole book using Google Docs, but I'm going to keep this really, really short. And I'm just going to make a shopping list. And on my shopping list, I have cheese and lettuce and apples and my new favorite drink, kombucha. Now, notice this says saved to drive. Did you notice that it popped right up there, saved to drive? But I didn't do that. It just saves automatically, so you never lose anything. But where did it save it? It just saved it in my drive, meaning it just dumped it in there. I want it to be in a particular folder in my drive. So first I want to give it a title, and as soon as I click on the title box, it puts in my first line. That looks good to me. But instead of just loose in my drive, I want to put it into my Chris Personal folder. I've been using Drive for a long time. I have tons of folders and stuff in here. So Chris Personal and move here. All right. So now that document is stored in my drive. Now I don't shop just for me. In fact, I don't shop at all. Jim does most of the shopping. But I want to show you how easy it is to let him add items to this list. So I click on Share up in the upper right-hand corner, and it just comes up and says, who do you want to share it with? And I put in his email. And notice it says editor. And that's what I want. I want him to be able to change it. And I click send. Now, in just a second, he'll get a notification that I've shared something with him.
Oh, I just heard it.
Yep. So he can open that on his Google Drive.
All right. Well, actually, it's not in my email yet, but I just heard the notification, so I have to wait. And there it is.
So he actually gets an email saying, here's the link to a file that Chris has shared with you.
And so I see this on my screen. You don't see that, but I do, and I can add some things to it because I think we need some more things. All right. Yeah. Here.
Now, what you're seeing is my screen. So, and Jim is sitting right next to me, but he could be on the other side of the world, and I can see what he's typing.
Okay. And what else do we need?
Oh, and that just reminds me. Yeah, I need
Wine.
And now on his screen, he's seeing that Chris just typed something in there.
That is so cool.
So just that, collaborate and create documents, store them in Google Drive in the cloud, and you can collaborate with that. And we will use the fact of there being this file when we start to do more with Google Drive a little bit later. So I can just close this. We're done. I close it. I never had to click save. That's the way Google Drive Docs works. And you can make sheets and slides and maps and a bunch of other things you can create.
Well, very cool. Uh-oh. Focus.
That looks better. I don't know. Sometimes I would prefer to be out of
focus. Sometimes we feel out of focus. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Jim, and here together with my wife, Chris, we're Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your iPad or your iPhone or your other devices? And how do you learn about this technology?
Well, we are geeks, also known as propeller heads. That's why the funny little hats. We are geeks who teach, and we think the best way to learn is in bite-sized pieces on a regular basis. So we came up with this YouTube show. We pick a topic and go into that topic each time. All of our content over the last 14 years now.
Wow.
is collected on our website at geeksontour.com. Check it out.
All right. So, Chris, where are we now? We're still home.
We're still home, and
Fort Lauderdale,
we're
Florida.
still recovering from our summer.
Yeah, it was fun, and we're tired, but
we're just hanging out in the rain. Boy, it's been raining and raining and raining.
Yeah, that's okay. It's good for the flowers.
We love it here in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, we do want to say hi to our live viewers, and there are a few of them out here.
Whoa, Michael. Wow, thank you.
All right. Tech for Senior, Ron Brown, and others standing by.
Oh, no.
Well, exactly, sitting by.
Perfect.
All right. Glenn for Jan from Ohio.
She just got the warning yesterday. Well, I hope that this teaches you what to do.
And Diana. Very cool.
Welcome.
New member. Welcome.
You made it.
I'm glad you got here. In Wales, nearly 7 p.m. Cool. Welcome from across the pond. Hoping to get some issues resolved with Google Drive. Yes, so are we.
Now, I learned some stuff from you about Google Drive, Huey, so I'll have to check back in with you.
Tom Parks, Mike Bader, pass the popcorn. Jolyn, Low Country of South Carolina, you betcha. And she has some issues too. Let's see if I can get down to the bottom of these. Raining in Phoenix. Well, that's a good thing. Warren, Michigan.
Wow, got a lot
Oregon.
of people.
Southern California, Texas. Jane, how are you? Brian from another across the pond. Yeah.
Debbie Diver. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Debbie.
Oh, Indy's mom. So that is Jean and John. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Andrew, good to see you, sir. And starting to move over to Apple phone, iMac, and iPad. Is John going to let you do that? Wow. Hollywood, Florida, neighbor.
All right.
All right. Back to work.
Yep.
Okay.
Good to see everybody.
Yeah, we're really glad to see everyone. College Station, home of A&M. All right. Enough of that. Okay. Next slide. All right. Thanks to our premium members. If you are a premium member, you are the ones that make this work possible and keep us online. If you want to be a member, you can join us anytime. Just geeksontour.com/join now. And premium members get the backstage pass. It's an online Zoom meeting. After this show, you'll get a link from an email that Chris sends out earlier, or you can go to our website if you're a member at member login on the menu item, and you'll see the link there. Come and see us after the show. Google Drive and the new Drive for desktop. Are you ready for this?
I think so, actually.
Okay. She's been studying.
So
I've been hearing it.
there's the icon, the triangle. I love things that are in threes, and I'm going to continue that in explaining what it does. Backup and sync is now Google Drive for desktop, and it does basically the same thing, but there are some critical differences. First off, Google Drive is cloud storage. Like we showed in our first little demo, we just used Google Drive from a web browser. That can be done from any computer, any mobile device, as long as you know your username and password. So it is cloud storage for anything you want to put up there. It can create doc sheets and slides, but then it can store anything else. And any connected device, computers or mobile, can access it. So that's drive.google.com cloud storage.
Whoops. Too quick. Cloud computing?
Computers can fly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just
too much fun.
Have to have a little bit of fun. Yeah. All right. So that's Google Drive is cloud storage. Google Drive for desktop is software that you'll put on your computer, and it does three things. It can sync your Drive files, the ones that are up in the cloud, down to your computer. Now, I make a big point of saying down, but as you'll see later, it does then sync both ways, but the number one thing that I think people use Google Drive for desktop for is bringing the Drive files down to your computer. But it can also take your computer files and send them up to Drive. So those are the two main things. There's down and there's up. And then there's sideways. Photos, Google Photos, and we're going to start with this one because since it's kind of an orphan out there, we can deal with how do you use Google Drive for desktop to upload to Google Photos, and then we won't have to get back to it. And I want to make a point of the fact that in the book, in Learn Google Photos book, chapter 3 is all about gathering the rest of your photos. Instead, you use the mobile app to get the pictures that you take with your phone. Then in the book, it says you use backup and sync to get the photos from your computer to the cloud in Google Photos. That is what is changing. And I made a video on that. So we're going to watch the video here. Procedure. Otherwise, I highly recommend using the manual methods. Upload photos. Hi, this is Chris Gould with Geeks on Tour, and in this video I'm going to show you how to download and install Google Drive for desktop so that you can upload photos from your computer to Google Photos automatically. First, let me explain. I'm going to be using our a Google account of our imaginary friend Alice. So here is Alice logged into her Google Photos, and there is nothing here. Now, there's lots of photos on this computer. We're going to upload them using Google Drive for desktop. Here is the folder for pictures. And notice there's a lot here. And inside each one of these folders, there might be more folders like this. It's for that reason that we need to use the automatic Google Drive for desktop procedure. Otherwise, I highly recommend using the manual methods. If you have few enough folders, it's better for you to control it using the manual method, and there's another video on that. So I want to see exactly what we're talking about with this pictures folder. I'm going to get the properties and show you that there's 35 gigabytes worth of files in this picture folder, 8,129 files. So we're going to see how long that takes. But there's one more folder on this computer that I want with pictures. It's on an external hard drive, and there's this folder called Jim's Pics. Now it doesn't have too many folders in it. I could maybe do that manually, but as long as I'm uploading everything, I'm going to upload this folder as well using the automatic method. So you need the software Google Drive for desktop. If you already have it, then you can skip this installation part and go straight to the settings. If you don't have it, the way you get it is go to your Google Photos and you click on Upload. We're not going to upload manually. We are going to use Google Drive for desktop to automatically back up photos from your computer. Download. Once it's downloaded, you need to open and install. If you're using Chrome, you'll see it in the lower left-hand corner. Click the little up arrow and open. Install Google Drive. Well, I am installing it solely for the purpose of uploading Google Photos, so I don't need any of this other stuff that refers to Google Drive and Docs. Google Drive successfully installed. All right, I'll close this. The first thing it wants me to do is sign in, and I am using Alice's account. I definitely downloaded it from Google, so I need to sign in, close this window, and return to Google Drive. So close this. Now you find Google Drive in the lower right hand corner in the sys tray. If you don't see the little drive icon right away, click the up arrow and there it is. It's not ready yet, so it's gray. And sign in. Once you've successfully signed in to the Google Drive for desktop, find it down here in the sys tray. It is the little triangle representing Google Drive. And it shows that we are logged in. Everything is up to date. That's because I haven't asked it to do anything yet. And all I want this to do is upload photos from my computer to Google Photos. You go into Preferences to set that up. And leaving it on my laptop, we are not going to deal with this Google Drive section in this video. So I want to put my pictures backed up. So add folder, pictures, right there. So just pictures, select folder. Now that's going to automatically select all of the subfolders and the subfolders. And it assumes that you want to sync with Google Drive because this is Google Drive for desktop. But no, I do not. I only want them to go up to Google Photos. So that's something that you got to do here. And done. Now I want to add another folder, that one that was on the external hard drive. Click Add Folder. Find the external hard drive, the Seagate, and it was Jim's Pics,
and select folder. And as I says, it's getting all the subfolders. I do not want it to go to Google Drive. I do want it to go to Google Photos. If you have both checked, it will get uploaded to twice and use more of your Google storage. So no, I don't want it on Google Drive. Done. Then be sure to save. You have not finished setting this up until you click save. I made that mistake once. And notice here, it says backing up photos and videos from 2 folders in storage saver quality. That is what you want. If you click there, if yours says original, you're going to be taking up a lot more of your storage space in your Google account. You want it at storage saver. Now you just wait. It seems to take a while before it gets started. So I'm just going to close this for now. There. Now this little icon of Google Drive, can you see how it's spinning a little bit? That is telling me that there's activity going on. If I click on it, I am now seeing how it is uploading photos to Alice's Google Photos account. Let's go take a look. I open up Chrome, I use Alice's account, and she now has some photos. But remember, we told it to upload, what, 8,000 to 10,000 pictures? So this is going to take a little bit. Well, it's been less than 2 hours, and Google Drive is reporting that everything is up to date. But I go and take a look at the photos in Alice's account, and there's a lot missing. There should be hundreds from 2017 and 2018, and they're not there. So I need to look at in Google Drive. It says that there are some errors. Let's view that. Aha! You don't have enough Google storage to sync some files. But I want you to notice here in Google Photos, it says storage is only 2.3 gigabytes of 15 gigabytes. It takes a while for this measurement to catch up. So I'll check on this in a day or two and see if it gives me accurate results. Meanwhile, if this was your account, your photos, my recommendation would be to buy the 100 gigabytes for $1.99 a month, and it would continue backing up.
All right.
So that is how you now will back up to your Google Photos automatically. And I do need to make a little follow-up to that video. I just did that yesterday, and now I have checked it out, and it is restarting to upload. So that count is a very flexible number. I think what was happening is it was counting the full size and saying, you're going to fill up your account. So it stopped uploading and said, you're full. But then it realized, no, I'm uploading in this storage saver size. So there is more there. So it's still uploading, and it is up to 7 gigabytes last I looked. So don't let that scare you. You can store more than you think you can if you use the storage saver.
Special
size.
thank you to Michael.
Really? Really?
Given a Google Doc, someone to share it. Can you tell with Google account who owns it?
Yes. Yes, you definitely can. It's in the information for every file. Owner is one of the pieces of information, along with the date and the size and that kind of stuff. Owner is one of those pieces of information.
Okay. Oh, right. People think I'm really smart about computers. I just done geeks on tours and private.
What is going on? Blue alert.
Look out. What's a blue alert?
It's the silver alert that's for the people with silver hair,
Yeah.
right? Not blue hair. I don't
Detlef,
know.
usually in Berlin, is in
Is in
Denver.
Denver,
Hey, how
yeah.
you doing? Wonderful.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I guess. Is it safe to put confidential documents in Drive, like Excel documents?
I say yes. It's as safe as anything in the cloud, except for maybe LastPass or something like that, because it is personal for your eyes only, under your username, your password, your two-factor authentication. And Google is really pretty good at security. But it is in the cloud. So if anything is in the cloud, always has a possibility of being seen by unintended eyes. But as long as you don't share it, it is for your eyes only.
Okay. Back to this.
Okay. So back to the three things, and we've just gotten rid of the one thing. The first, the photos. The first is that anything that is in your cloud storage, if you want it on your computer, that's what I think is the main purpose of the Google Drive for Desktop, is bringing that down. And then once they're down there, it keeps them in sync. So you can use the files on either side. You can work with them on your computer, or you can work with them in the cloud on some other computer. So that's the way it works. It syncs files between your computer and the cloud. The My Drive comes down. All right, so that's number one. But then number two is going up. If you have files on your computer that you want in the cloud, I mean, they originated on your computer, but you want them in the cloud, Google Drive for Desktop can do that. But it does it to a different area of Drive. All the stuff that originated in My Drive goes into a group called My Drive. Then anything that you upload from a computer goes into computer. And I want to show you this. So back to my computer, and I'm going to look at my files and folders. So this is my Windows computer. This is Drive for Desktop, does work on Macs as well. And if I look at my Chris Gould and documents, I have a folder here called 2020 tax stuff. And that's just on my computer, in my C drive, in my documents. Now, what if I want that available to me wherever and whenever I am? I mean, when I'm in my accountant's office, I want to be able to pull it up on my phone. When I'm at my computer, I want to be able to pull it up on my computer, etc. I want it available in the cloud. Here's how you do it. You open up Google Drive for Desktop, and remember from the video, that's down in the sys tray, and it's the little three-sided icon. And then under Settings and Preferences, notice the two pieces over here. Google Drive is talking about what's coming down. My laptop is what's going up. Add a folder. And I'm in my PC and documents, and there's the folder that I want, the 2020 tax stuff. Select folder. And this one I do want to sync with Google Drive. It has spreadsheets and stuff in it, not to Google Photos. Done. And save. Make sure to save. That is important. So now Google Drive for Desktop is telling me that there are two folders that are being uploaded to the cloud. One that's going to Google Drive computers, and the other that is going just to Google Photos. And looks like it's already done. Yeah, there's the IRS, Book 1. It's all done. Everything is up to date. So now how do I see that in the cloud? I would go to my Google Drive. But it's not in my drive, okay? It is in my computers. And this computer is my Surface Book. And, right, this is my Surface Book. And there's the upload these. Maybe it needs to be refreshed. I should be seeing 2020 tax stuff here. All righty. My laptop. There it is. Okay. So this Chris Surface Book is what Backup and Sync called this particular computer. Now that I'm using Google Drive for desktop, it's just calling it my laptop. So I probably need to clean this up, but there is my folder from the computer. And now I can work with these worksheets online in Google Drive or on the computer, and they will keep in sync one to the other.
Good. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, once they're there, once they have been uploaded from your computer to Google Drive in the computers area, they will stay in sync.
Okay.
And then number 3 is what we just went over, that you can use Google Drive for desktop to go to Google Photos. Now, why did I schedule this for this week? Well, because on October 1, Backup and Sync will stop working. And I saw a couple of comments already from the audience that you've already gotten some messages saying, hey, you need to change this. So you need to migrate from Backup and Sync to Drive for desktop. That is, if you ever use Backup and Sync. I mean, you didn't have to. You can just use Google Drive in the cloud. But if you used Backup and Sync, it will stop working on October 1. And here's the video on how the migration works. Hi, this is Chris Gould with Geeks on Tour, and this video is about migrating from Google Backup and Sync to Drive for desktop. As of October 1, 2021, Backup and Sync will no longer work. You will be prompted to convert to Drive for desktop. First, a little bit about what has changed. This is their official list of what is different, and I've checked the ones that I think are important. Streaming files from Google Drive to the computer. Backup and Sync did not do that. If you asked for Google Drive files to be on your computer, they were copied full size. On Drive, you can choose this streaming, which means they don't take up any space on your drive, but you do see the names of all the files and folders. Secondly, make selected folders on My Drive available offline. Well, that happened automatically with Backup and Sync because you got the whole files. In Drive for desktop, you would have to go into each folder and specify to keep them available offline. Backup to Google Photos only. This is nice. With Backup and Sync, it always backed up to Google Drive as well as Google Photos. In Drive for desktop, you can choose just to go to Google Photos. And last thing to know, with Backup and Sync, you could prevent the sync part. You could delete from either the cloud or the computer and allow it to not sync to the other. In Google Drive for desktop, things will be synced, period. You have no choice. So if you are using Backup and Sync, you will be seeing these messages. Google Drive is replacing Backup and Sync. It'll pop up, will ask you to get started. If you click on Get Started, it will ask you for what account you're using, what Google account. No problem.
Then it tells you a little bit of information. If you have chosen folders from your computer to get backed up to Drive, you now will need to tell it whether or not you want it to go to Google Drive, which is a sync process, or just get backed up to Google Photos. And we have another video on that. So then for each folder that you had been specifying in Backup and Sync, Google Drive for Desktop now needs to know which setting you are going to use. So I only had one folder that was going from my computer to my Google Drive, and that was for purposes of Google Photos. So I just check Google Photos now. This next part is, what folders do you want from Google Drive, from the cloud storage, coming down to your computer and syncing? You have no choice about the syncing. Whichever of these you choose will sync. But if you choose this mirror option, it means that every file on your Google Drive in the cloud is copied 100% to your computer. So if you have 50 gigabytes of files in your Google Drive, you will now have 50 gigabytes in your computer. I recommend choosing the stream files and then make folders available offline. Now this is kind of, if you say, what the world is stream files? Well, maybe you've used Dropbox and understand Smart Sync, or OneDrive and Files on Demand. They're very similar. Once you have made those selections, you are almost done. It just wants you to confirm that you have chosen stream files and you're only backing up one folder to Google Photos. You click Save, and you're done. Now I want to show you what it looks like. So here I am on my Windows computer and I'm looking at this PC. Notice that there is a Google Drive G. That is because I do have the Google Drive for Desktop installed and running. You see it on your sys tray in the lower right hand corner. On a Mac, this would be in the upper right hand corner, and it might be hidden, so click the up arrow and there is Google Drive. Now I just want you to see what happens if I quit Google Drive, and you do that with this gear wheel settings and quit. Now watch this Google Drive G. When I click quit, it disappears. So that is a virtual drive that only exists while Google Drive is working. So now how do I get Google Drive back working? Well, it will, when you reboot, it will come back, but meanwhile I can just search for Drive and Google Drive. Now my Drive G is back and my Google Drive icon is back in the sys tray. The last thing I want to show you is how do you make a folder available offline. Well, if I look in my Google Drive and my Drive, these are all of the folders that exists in my cloud version of Google Drive. If I want to make one, notice these little green check marks, that means those are available offline. How did I do that? Right click on the folder, offline access, available offline. Now, even if you don't have an internet connection, you will still be able to open files in these. All the others you can still see the listings, but you won't be able to open them because they are streaming from the cloud.
All right. Very cool.
Phew.
There's not much to it, right?
Yeah. If you're confused,
You're welcome to the club.
You're in good company. You are in good company.
Okay.
Shall we deal with a few of these questions?
Okay. Yeah, let's see. If I mistakenly loaded Google Photos twice into Drive, how do I correct that?
All right. So you're saying you checked both boxes, the Drive and the Google Photos. Well, remember, where do computer files go into Drive? They go into that computer area. So you should be able to find the folder where the photos went in your Google Drive computer area and delete that folder. So
Okay.
clean it up.
Jolin says the errors notice tells me that Google Drive for desktop found that files are too small.
Yeah, you can't upload to Google Photos anyway. I don't know about Google Drive. Files that are smaller than 50K, I think, or 50 pixels. I don't know, but yeah, the little thumbnail pictures can't be uploaded, can't be stored in Google Photos.
Okay. Richard says he has 104 gigabytes of Google One and only using 2%. I think I'm using 4% of mine.
You're prepared.
Yeah.
You're prepared. Okay.
And we thank you so much for being here and being a supporter of us.
Thank you.
If we had the Google Photos app on the desktop before we configured to upload from PC to Google Photos, do we still have to install the Google Drive for desktop? No. Have to?
Yeah, I think the answer, if we had the Google Photos app on the desktop.
There's no
the
Google
before.
Photos.
Right. You're talking about even before backup and sync, I think. So good, but this raises the question, I'm not positive it's what you're asking, but this is the question I'm going to answer, is once your photos have all been uploaded, if that was your only reason for using either backup and sync or Google Drive for desktop, I say remove it now. From now on, any photos that go onto your computer probably came from your phone and are already going up to Google Photos. Or if not, you can manually upload them folder by folder, which is a better way anyway. So when it comes to Google Photos, the purpose for using the Google Drive for desktop is if you have hundreds of folders and folders within folders, and you just don't have the time to upload all those manually.
Okay. John has a question. Chris, can you also go into settings preferences and Google Drive for desktop and remove a folder that you do not want to be uploaded to the cloud?
Now, if you're saying you had it set to upload, you can go and turn that off and delete it, yes. But if you're saying, can you just tell it to remove no, you'd have to go to the cloud and remove that folder yourself, just delete it.
Can I put Google Drive on my desktop and also on my laptop and still keep everything in sync?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is a pretty cool advantage to this. I mean, if you noticed when I went into my computer area, I had 4 or 5. Now, some of them are old, unused, but 2 of them are current active computers, and I can access files on any of those computers from any device in my hand because they're synced to Google Drive.
Yeah. So Debbie says this is why she uses it. No paper documents to store, and they're backed up. Yeah. And you can also scan your important documents and put them up there too.
You certainly could do that, but that's starting to hit against my discomfort level with security. If you have other options, I put scans of our passports, etc., into LastPass. That's I think the most secure.
Okay. So Laura wants to know, how does Google distinguish your files from files shared with you from other people?
Oh, I can show you that. If you go to My Drive, over on the left-hand side, here's My Drive. Here's files that are uploaded from computers, and here are the folders that are shared with me. So it's a whole separate area in Google Drive. Now, the recent picks up whatever you've looked at from wherever it came from, but shared with me is what you would look at.
Okay, Richard says, can I put Microsoft Office documents, etc., in
Absolutely.
the drive?
Absolutely. That 2020 tax stuff sample that I had was Excel files.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually open and work with Excel files just in Google Drive too.
Okay. Can you mirror files to Dropbox so it doesn't go to your computer?
Oh, mirror. So what you're talking about, well, is the next topic is mirroring means actually copying files 100% from the cloud to your computer. Sounds like you want those to go into a Dropbox folder. I'm not sure. That's that's getting too much. You can't send them just to Dropbox in the cloud. I mean, at best, you could put them into Dropbox folder on your computer, so they're still taking up space on your computer.
Okay. Huey, I add files from my PC to the G drive and do not see them from the same account on my Chromebook. I add files from my Chromebook and don't see them on my PC's Google Drive. Is there a setting that he's missing?
If it's the same account, you should be. If you add files from your PC to your G, yeah. Hopefully you're going to come into the backstage pass, Huey, and we'll look at this in detail. But from my first reading of your question there, I think you should be able to.
Okay. Detlef says, I thought he had switched to Google Drive when they first recommended it. Now he realized that he doesn't have the drive triangle in the icons in the system tray. What did I do wrong and how do I fix it?
Well, yeah, if you don't have that icon, then you need to download the software, and you would get that from Google Drive in the cloud under the gear. There's Get Backup and Sync for Windows, and it's the same thing as the one I showed using Google Photos as well.
All right.
Okay.
Whoops.
Couple more slides.
A couple more slides. Mirror versus stream.
First of all, so these are weird words, I think. Took me quite a while to figure out what they mean, but they only refer to that first use of Drive for desktop, the downloading from Drive to your computer and then keeping them in sync. If you choose mirror, it means it's an exact duplicate. If you have 50 gigabytes of stored files in your Google Drive and you mirror them to your PC, you are going to have 50 gigabytes of storage taken up on your PC, and there's no options. My recommendation, therefore, is to stream. If you stream, you get just the folder and the file names of all of them on your computer. And when you click on one, it goes and gets it. Think of it like a card catalog in a library. Anybody remember those?
Hardly.
So if you wanted to find a book in the library, you would go to the card catalog. But once you find the card, then you had to go get the book. So that's what streaming is. You have the file name on your computer, but when you click on it, it goes and gets it. And I wanted to do something on here. Okay, so I do want a demo. And if I go to my computer and I look at this PC, so I see the Google Drive G and my drive. And where did I put that shopping list? In Chris Personal. Notice that Chris Personal just has a cloud icon on it. So that means that that folder just exists in the cloud. and there is a shopping list, and it has the cloud icon. But when I open it, it opens it in Google Drive. And if I make a change, if I make a change and close, I will see that change whether I open the file from my computer or from the cloud.
Okay.
So what it's really good for is just if you're comfortable using your files and folders on your computer, then this is a good thing. But the files are actually stored in the cloud, so you can access them from anywhere.
Okay, if you were using backup and sync and you converted to streaming with Drive, you should remove your old folder.
Okay, what that's talking about is the brand new with Google Drive for desktop is that virtual drive G. Back in the backup and sync, it was a folder called Drive. And let me show you mine. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Under your name, I have this folder called Google Drive, and it still has stuff in it. But this is leftover. This is an orphan. This is no longer being synced, and all of this content is in my Drive and being streamed. So it is recommended that you clean up your computer and delete that folder, or maybe put it off to a backup drive if you're too nervous about that. That's fine, but that's what that slide was talking about.
All right.
And the last thing, I just want to show you how you can view with all these files on a mobile device as well. So I'm going to go to my Android, my Samsung phone, and get it in focus, and go to my Google Drive. I forget where I keep it on this phone. It's under Google, and it's the triangle Drive. So it's still, you open up the Drive app.
This way a little bit. There you go.
Now, and it opens to files. You have home, you have starred, you have shared, or you have files. Under files, you have my Drive and computers. So I want to see that shopping list. Where is that? That's under my Drive. And because it originated in the cloud and Chris Personal, and there's my shopping list. Now, if I want to see my 2020 tax, that was in computers and my laptop, and there's the 2020 tax stuff. And the same thing, I can do it on an Apple device. So here's my iPad, and there's Google Drive. I tap on files. There's the My Drive and the computers, and I have everything there. So whatever device I happen to have in my hands, everything is available to me.
Cool.
Yep. And I think I'm done.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and I guess we can talk about the Backstage Pass. That's for our premium members only. It's a great benefit for our premium members. It's an online meeting using Zoom right after this show, and you should have a link from an email that Chris sent out or the member login. And somebody's messing us up here. Okay. More questions. We have a couple more things here. Judy says she uses Dropbox encrypted for secure important documents. Will the encryption transfer to Google Drive?
Ooh. Good question.
Don't know.
Good question. I don't know. Figure it out and let me know.
I've been bookmarking pages for places I want to visit. Is it possible to save these bookmarks to Google Drive and be able to access them from my phone? It's just a list. Yeah.
Yeah, there might be better ways, but yeah, if you can figure out how to get the actual file of the list of the bookmarks, then saving them in Google Drive.
Sue says, my hubby's photos go to our shared Google Photos just fine, but I can't see his photos when I try to upload from Blogger. How do I get Blogger to see his photos from Google Photos? You have to save them to your own library.
Yeah. You can't, Google Blogger is linked just to one account in Google Photos,
Not a shared.
but you can save his to yours and then
Or just the individual ones that you want to use. Yeah. Richard says, I just downloaded Drive for desktop successfully. It shows on my taskbar and where it belongs. See, it worked.
Yay.
Brian, I have a Drive with photos saved as year month. I know that Google Photos will ignore my storage format and destroy my system. Will Google Drive for desktop do this automatically, or can I still do it manually? If you put them on Drive.
Do what? I mean, yeah, if Google Drive for desktop, if you tell it to upload your Google Photos, you will lose the folder structure if you're uploading to Google Photos. Now, if you're uploading to Google Drive under computer, then the folders are maintained, but you're not using Google Photos then. So it doesn't, so if at all possible, the manual way is the best. You drag one folder, and once it's uploaded to Google Photos, you have the option of making an album out of it. So that's the best.
Maria, question, when did this new feature start?
The new Google Drive for desktop? Well, it's absolutely starts October 1, but it's been available for a couple months now.
Yeah, okay. Maria likes our background. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a
too.
live streaming picture from the beach over near us, and that's pretty cool. Thanks for noticing. On my iPhone, where do I find the Drive icon to download it on the iPhone?
Well, you would have to install the Drive app. So go to your app store and look for Google Drive and install it, and then you have it.
Okay, Debbie, if you bookmark in Google browser, it just saves them
to your Google account. Oh, what a great typo. To your Google account. Yes. Yeah, true. You shouldn't have to put them in Google Drive to have them available to you on any device with a browser.
Phyllis wants to know if she can make columns and shopping lists.
I don't know. I haven't seen a column option in Google Docs, but doesn't mean it's not there.
Okay. All right. You're welcome. Thank you. Take a look at Grace's video about Google Photos, create an album. Okay. John says her method saved me. All right. Joel, I agree regarding the manual upload. Yeah. Once the bulk are up there. Yeah.
Yeah, once the bulk is done, then you're done with the uploading and from the computer.
Okay. Very cool.
Dazzle's typo.
Dazzle's typing. Okay.
No, that would be a doodle.
A doodle.
All right. So we had a lot of questions there, but now we have some for you.
Yeah, we did. Did you learn something? True or false? In order to use Google Drive, you must download the software Google Drive for desktop.
False. Google Drive is cloud storage and creation. You can use Google Drive all day, all night without ever even having a computer.
True or false? If you use Drive for desktop to upload photos to Google Photos, they will not be synced. Meaning, if you delete it from the computer, they'll stay in the cloud.
True. It's a one-way trip.
If you select the mirror option, your Google Drive files will show up in your computer in A, a folder called Drive, B, a Drive letter, G, Or C, by opening the Drive app?
Oh, mirror. Remember, streaming creates the Drive letter, but mirroring creates a folder called Drive, just like it used to be.
This is good
So
to know.
A is
A
the answer to that one, selecting the mirror.
If you choose to sync a computer folder called 2020 Taxes, you'll find it in the cloud at drive.google.com. In what section? Is it computers, B, My Drive, C, recent, or D, shared?
A, computers.
Okay.
Phew. Next
That's a good
time we'll get back to something a little more beginner
and more fun.
a little more beginner level.
We remind you to sign up for our newsletters at geeksontour.com/news. Members, our premium members, get the 2021 edition of the Google Photos book at geeksontour.com/ebooks. Please become a premium member at Geeks on Tour and subscribe to this channel. Now, Chris, what's the webpage that lists all of our YouTube shows?
Geeksontour.com, and the menu item is YouTube shows.
And the page that lists all of our recent newsletters.
Geeksontour.com, and the menu item is blogs and news.
And that's a great resource. So why do people pay $58 a year to join Geeks on Tour?
Well, there's a special place where they can ask us questions, and we promise to answer. We promise to respond, whether or no we know the answer. Access to hundreds. You notice that we're on 705 and 706 today. Videos. You get written notes from these shows, great reference, and the backstage pass, where you get to have a private meeting with us. And a lot of people join just to say thank you for all the stuff that we give for free. We love you.
Yeah. Become a member and come to the backstage pass. That's it for us. I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And we're
Geeks on Tour.
See you next time.